Hello and welcome to Environmental Law. My name is Karen Conslow and I am going to be your professor in this course. I'm filming right now over the holiday break, so I was able to access some of the students who had registered already, and I saw a lot of familiar faces, so it's great to have those of you back in class and a lot of new folks too. So I hope that at points during the semester you'll go ahead and reach out to me, either if you're near campus, stop by my office or give me a call so I can get to know you a little better. Online classes are great, except for the fact that there is this disconnect between the professor and the students, and I really like to get to know the students in my class. So please keep in mind, my door is open, my office hours are posted in the syllabus, and you can call me, you can set up a Skype, you can come by, all those things would be wonderful. Now, I don't want to make this introductory video too long. I know you guys have a lot of things to do, but I did want to cover a couple of important points because we won't have a live virtual class for about a month. So this is really my introduction for you all to the class. So of course our topic is environmental law, and we're going to cover a number of aspects of environmental law in this class. We are going to talk about legal philosophies and legal frameworks in America and around the world. We're going to talk about case law, both in America and in different countries around the world, using innovative techniques to try to accomplish environmental goals, whether it's reduction of climate change, protection of wildlife, or even the concept of earth jurisprudence, which is giving rights to other creatures. All these are cases that are being explored in different countries by different lawyers from all sorts of different backgrounds. We're also going to study some of the predominant environmental regulations at the federal level here in the United States, as well as in the state level, just for the state of Florida. I am doing something a little different this time. I have taught environmental law from the same textbook for the last few years, and this year I have changed the textbook. There is a picture of it in your syllabus, but also I have one propping my laptop up right now. This is what it should look like. I changed to Climate Change and the Voiceless by Randall Abate for two reasons. One, I am working pretty hard to lower textbook costs for my students. I know that's not always obvious because textbooks still tend to cost a lot of money. Oh, my computer went out on me, but I think it's still filming. I know textbooks tend to cost a lot of money, but this one should have been a good bit cheaper than many of the other textbooks on the market. I'm very hopeful no one in the class paid more than $30, $35 for it. The other reason I selected it is it's written by a friend of mine who comes and does guest lectures at UCF on a fairly regular basis. A couple of those were actually filmed and have been put into your modules, so you'll be able to watch them even if Professor Abate does not come back this semester to do a live lecture. The one drawback of the book, I think this has to do with the price a little bit. It is not as comprehensive as our classes. So in addition to the textbook, I've pulled a number of excellent online and free resources and put them into the modules for you to read, and in some cases to watch if it's a video. Please keep in mind, whether it's the textbook or whether it's a page of the module that I've written or whether it's a link to an article or video, it is part of the required course reading, and you definitely do not want to neglect it because the material can absolutely and most likely will show up on a quiz or on the final exam. Which leads me to the other thing I wanted to talk about. Online courses, if you've had them before, you know this, they can be great for a lot of things. They give you a ton of flexibility and allow you to work, raise a family, do other things you need to do, and still get the same level of learning that you would get in a face-to-face class. One of the downsides is it requires a lot of self-pacing and self-motivation. I won't be in front of you in a classroom once or twice a week reminding you to do your reading, reminding you that a quiz is coming up, reminding you to do your field trip. You absolutely have to be keeping track of these things on your own, because since this is an online class, I do put a lot of flexibility in deadlines. Every single assignment, with the exception of the final exam, which is during final exam week, and that I might even change. I'm kind of trying to decide if I'm going to change it or not, has weeks to get done, every single one. So the flip side of that is, because I give you weeks and weeks and weeks to take a quiz or to get your to watch one of the virtual conferences or to finish your field trip, there is a hard stop. 5 p.m. on the deadline date, it has to be turned in. And if it's not turned in, you can only make it up if you have a UCF excused absence. Those are listed in the syllabus. But if you forget, you have computer problems, your boss calls you into work, and you don't get it turned in by 5 o'clock on the deadline, you lose all credit for it. And some of these assignments, quiz, I got to double check the syllabus, but I want to say the quizzes are worth 15 or 20%. So absolutely be aware that you have to self-pace, you have to know your deadlines, you have to keep up on the reading, on your own, okay? Now, that doesn't mean I'm not available for phone calls. As I already mentioned, come by, do a Skype, ask me questions in my office. I am a resource for you, but it is not like in a face-to-face class where you'll be seeing me on a weekly basis. Now, that said, even if you never come by my office, you will see me again after this video. I have a number of videos scattered throughout the modules, and also I will have 3 conferences, 3 virtual classes where you can attend live, or if you can't make it, it's not convenient with your schedule, you can watch it after the fact. Now, these are required classes, so in order to earn class participation credit, you do have to either attend live or watch the recording and answer the questions that I will distribute through emails and announcements after each class. Please keep in mind, because this can confuse students, when I set up grades and web courses, each of my virtual classes is worth 1 point toward your class participation grade, which works out to be about 1% of your final grade. The way it reflects in web courses, though, if you watch the class live, you're going to get a check mark for it, okay? I download the roster, and within a day or 2 of the virtual class, I put a little check mark into your grade column. Next to that check mark, if you attended live, you're probably going to see the word missing. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. That check mark shows you got credit. The reason the word missing shows up is because for students who cannot watch it live and watch the recording, they have to upload a very brief assignment, which is answering the questions that I'll distribute. Once they answer those questions, then they get credit as well, but that's marked off in a different category. So students who don't watch it live, instead of getting a check mark, they're going to get an indication of complete, okay? So if you see a check mark, you're good to go. You don't need to email me. Don't worry about the word missing. But if you did not attend it live and you see the word missing, then you got a problem because it means you didn't turn in your assignment to get makeup credit. So please do make sure you check for the questions and you upload them, and then you'll see a designation that says complete, and that means you got credit, okay? The reason I say this is because our class is looking like it's going to be about 100 students, and if even like 10 or 20% of you are confused on the missing versus the check mark, I'm going to get 10, 20 emails on this question, so that's why I wanted to get it out of the way at the beginning of the class. What else did I want to make sure? I took some notes for myself. I'm going to look at my computer screen real quick to make sure. Okay, we also do have, let me close this out, excuse me. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to X out of my notes, and my computer's giving me a little bit of a hard time. There we go. We also do have, in addition to these classes, we have 3 quizzes and a final exam. Now, I have timed the virtual classes to be on the Mondays before the quizzes are due. So quizzes are due on various Fridays. You can check the syllabus for the exact dates, and in fact, you need to answer your financial aid question. So go ahead and check the syllabus for the exact dates that the quizzes are due. They're all on Fridays at 5 p.m. Everything's due at 5 p.m. The virtual class to discuss the material that will be on that quiz is going to be the Monday before. Okay, so they give you about 5 days between when I host a virtual class and when the quiz is due. That said, you can take the quizzes whenever you want. I have, at this point, the entire course is open. The only thing you can't access at this point is the final exam. So if you want to rush through the course and get it done in a month, you could do that. I recommend you wait to take the quizzes until I do the classes, just because I am going to try to go over and review what you should have learned throughout the modules covered in that quiz. It's not going to be an extensive review. It will be about 45 minutes, but it can help. I don't do it. I wouldn't host these virtual classes if I didn't think it would help. So if you want to take the quizzes early, you don't want to wait for my class, that is entirely your choice. If you tend to be a straight A student, you know you're going to ace the quizzes whether you listen to me talk or not, that is fine. I will not raise any new information in the virtual classes. The virtual classes are to go over the information you should have already read and watched in the videos, in the modules, in the assigned reading, in the assigned videos. But they can be helpful. Okay, the quizzes themselves, they're all multiple choice. They are all online. They're going to run between 15 and 20 questions each. Timing, they do tend to be, some of you have had me in face-to-face classes. I give ample time in face-to-face classes. There's no time pressure at all. In my online classes, there is some time pressure. It's one of many tactics and tools I use in the online testing to try to limit cheating. So if time-pressured tests really are a concern for you, you may not want to take this course. I'm just being straight honest with everybody, okay? You can expect about a minute to a minute and a half per question. Now, it's plenty of time they're multiple choice questions. They don't take that long to read or answer. But for students who get very stressed out by time limitations, even a minute and a half can cause them stress. So I just want to let you know that now. First day of class, you can still switch to another class if you want to. And if you really want to take environmental law, I teach it in the face-to-face modality as well, where you won't have time restrictions on your quizzes, or at least not one that's going to cause you any pressure. So just want to get that out of the way up front. What else is there? And the other assignment is a field trip. So the field trip, when I teach the class face-to-face or mixed mode, we do both a class field trip and we do individual student field trips. We cannot do a class field trip in the online environment because I'm not allowed to require you all to be in the same place at the same time. Point of an online class is to keep things flexible. So all I require in this class is a single independent field trip. And in the assignment, you have a list of suggested places that I would recommend you go take your field trip to. Some are close to campus, some are farther away. If you have an alternative location you would like to try, just shoot me an email. Make sure it's acceptable. I've had some phenomenal field trips that students have done on their own. Last semester, 2 students went down to the Everglades. I thought that was awesome. On the flip side, last semester, a student asked me if they could go to Animal Kingdom as their environmental field trip. No. Disney is not an environment. There is Disney Wilderness Preserve. That's a great environmental field trip. But the Disney theme parks do not count as having significant ecological and academic benefit to this class. So if you want to go off list, again, it's fine. Just shoot me an email and make sure that your location qualifies, okay? I think that's everything I wanted to go over. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you really enjoy the class. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And please feel free to work at your own pace, but if you would like to get the benefit of my virtual classes, just don't take your quizzes until you have a chance to watch my class, okay? And lastly, don't forget, financial aid questions due by 5 p.m. on Friday in order to get class credit and also to ensure timely distribution of your financial aid. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you soon.